In a quiet little town nestled between rolling hills and farmland, there lived a young man named Daniel Carter. At 24, Daniel seemed to have everything people in town admired: a decent job at the hardware store, a small but comfortable house he rented, and a circle of friends who invited him out often. But behind his polite smiles, Daniel was restless. His mind never gave him a moment's peace. At night, when the town fell silent, his thoughts grew louder. Regrets about the past, mistakes he had made, words he wished he could take back would come flooding in. And when those memories faded, worries about the future rushed to take their place. What if I never get anywhere? What if I fail? What if I'm not enough? Daniel often wandered the quiet streets alone. To others, he looked like a man enjoying the night air. But inside, he felt trapped, like his thoughts were a storm he couldn't escape. The harder he tried to quiet them, the louder they grew. One evening, while sitting on a park bench beneath the flickering glow of a street lamp, Daniel muttered to himself, "There has to be more than this. There has to be a way to stop this storm." An elderly man who passed by overheard him and paused. He looked at Daniel kindly and said, "If you want peace, you should go up to the mountain village. People say a teacher lives there who knows how to calm the restless mind." Daniel lifted his head, surprised. "A teacher?" The man nodded with a gentle smile before walking away. That night, Daniel lay awake in bed, staring at the ceiling. The idea clung to him. Maybe, just maybe, there was an answer waiting for him in those mountains. And so, the seed of a journey was planted. The very next morning, Daniel made his decision. With only a small backpack, a water bottle, and a few essentials, he set out toward the distant mountains. The road stretched long and winding, but for the first time in years, Daniel felt a flicker of hope. The air grew fresher as he walked, and the noises of town slowly faded behind him. Yet his mind did not stay quiet for long. Regret tried to creep back in. Memories of arguments with his late father, words spoken in anger that he could never take back, stabbed at him like cold knives. Then came the worries. What if the rumors were wrong? What if this teacher didn't exist? What if he was wasting his time? The further he walked, the louder those thoughts seemed to grow. Daniel clenched his fists and muttered, "I can't keep living like this. I need to find the answer." Hours turned into a day, and then two. His shoes grew dusty. His shoulders ached beneath the straps of his backpack, but he pressed on. Along the way, he met villagers carrying baskets of fruit, shepherds guiding their flocks, and travelers passing by. Most greeted him with a smile. Some warned him, "The path is steep. Few who go up the mountain find what they are looking for." But Daniel's resolve hardened. He would not turn back. He would not surrender to the storm inside. On the third day, he saw it. A small cluster of wooden houses tucked against the mountain, smoke curling gently from their chimneys. The village was real. His heart quickened. Perhaps so was the teacher. Daniel tightened his straps, took a deep breath, and climbed the final hill. The village felt like another world. Children played barefoot in the dirt, chasing one another with laughter that echoed through the crisp mountain air. Old women sat weaving baskets on their porches, humming soft tunes. The scent of pine trees mixed with wood smoke, and the sky seemed clearer here, as if the weight of the world below could not reach it. Daniel asked around timidly, "Is there a teacher here? Someone wise?" The villagers exchanged knowing looks. Finally, a boy pointed to a cottage near the edge of the village. "You're looking for Professor Harris," he said. The name stirred curiosity. Daniel followed the boy's gesture and found the cottage, its garden filled with herbs and flowers, a wooden chair resting on the porch. An old man sat there, white-haired but sharp-eyed, his hands folded calmly in his lap. Daniel swallowed his nerves and approached. "Excuse me, sir, are you Professor Harris?" "That's what they call me. And who might you be?" "My name is Daniel. I've been searching for peace. My mind never rests. It keeps me trapped between the past and the future. I was told you could help." Professor Harris studied him for a long moment, then nodded. "I see the storm in your eyes." He gestured to a chair beside him. "Sit. If you are willing to learn, I will show you something. But understand this, the answer will not come from me. It will come from you." Daniel leaned forward eagerly, hope and doubt wrestling within him. "I'm ready." The professor's smile deepened as though he had been waiting for those words. Professor Harris stood slowly, his joints stiff, but his movements deliberate. He picked up a small clay cup and filled it with water from a jug. The surface of the water shimmered under the mountain light. "Take this glass," he said, handing it carefully to Daniel. "Now walk down the road, through the village, and back again. But listen closely. Do not spill a single drop." Daniel frowned. That seemed simple. Too simple. But he obeyed. He gripped the glass with both hands and began walking. Every step felt heavy with responsibility. His eyes stayed locked on the trembling surface, afraid the water might leap over the edge. Children laughed and darted across his path. Dogs barked at his heels. Neighbors called greetings from their porches. But Daniel ignored it all. He had one task: keep the water safe. By the time he returned, sweat trickled down his brow. He held the glass out, still full. "I did it," he said, breathlessly. Professor Harris's eyes twinkled. "Good. But tell me, what did you see along the way?" Daniel blinked. "Nothing. I was too focused on the glass." "Exactly," the professor said, his voice calm as stone. "You were no longer caught in the past or rushing toward the future. You were here, entirely present. For once, your storm was quiet." Daniel looked at the glass, realization dawning. He had been so focused, so present, that his restless mind had fallen silent. Professor Harris nodded. "That is the first step. To live in this moment without letting the mind wander where it does not belong." Daniel sat down, the glass still trembling in his hands. His chest rose and fell with uneven breaths. He had expected some mysterious ritual, some complicated philosophy. Instead, the answer was so ordinary. Yet it was also profound. Professor Harris leaned closer, his eyes sharp but kind. "You spend your days lost in yesterday or trapped in tomorrow. But life, real life, only happens now. The storm in your mind exists because you abandon the present. Peace is not hidden in the distance, it is right here, in this breath, in this step." Daniel's throat tightened. He thought of the countless nights wasted reliving regrets, the endless mornings spent worrying about what was yet to come. And all the while, he had missed the life happening around him. "So," he whispered, "the secret isn't about fixing the past or controlling the future. It's about being here, now." The professor nodded, his smile gentle. "Yes, peace was never lost, Daniel. You simply forgot where to look." Tears pricked Daniel's eyes. He had come all this way, desperate for an answer, and found it not in the mountain, but within himself. For the first time in years, he felt the storm inside grow quiet. The next morning, Daniel stood at the edge of the village, the sun rising behind the peaks. His backpack felt lighter on his shoulders, though nothing inside had changed. The real difference was within him. Professor Harris walked him to the road. "Remember," he said, "this lesson must travel with you. It is not enough to find peace here, you must live it everywhere." Daniel nodded. Gratitude filled his heart. "I won't forget. Thank you for showing me." The professor placed a hand on his shoulder. "You found it yourself. I only pointed the way." With that, Daniel set off down the winding road. This time, he noticed everything he had missed before: the chirping of birds in the trees, the soft rush of a nearby stream, the warmth of sunlight on his face. Each step was alive with presence. When he returned to his small town, people noticed the change. His eyes no longer darted restlessly. His voice no longer trembled with anxiety. He stopped to greet his neighbors, to truly listen, to smile. For once, he wasn't rushing through life. That night, as Daniel sat on his porch, he closed his eyes and took a deep, steady breath. The storm was gone. He whispered to himself, "This moment is enough." And for the first time in his life, Daniel felt free.